What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well, and buckle up. This is going to be a doozy. We're going to talk about Marksman Hunter in Season 2, something I have been testing a lot on the PTR because I'm very interested in the changes that have happened. And unfortunately, I can't get on the PTR right now because it's down because Blizzard is awesome, but we're on the live game right now. But I'm going to talk about the talent trees, the brand new spotted eagle system that's happening, how precise shots has changed. We're talking about all the talent changes, the ones that got removed, and we're going to talk about how true shot is different, the new Hydra talent, a lot of stuff. Okay, so I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. So let's dive into it. I'm going to show you some footage on the PTR as well of a plus 12 that I was doing and the damage. TLDR on the whole video. The damage is good. I don't think you're going to be the best in the game. We're still going to struggle with 2-target cleave. You're losing one of your survivability options, but you're getting a ton of quality of life that's coming in. And then the way that like true shot functions now has changed a little bit. I think it's way better. We'll talk about all that stuff in the video here, and I'll try and go as quick as I can so that we're not here for like 35 minutes. Okay, let's jump into the talent changes. Let me put this up here, and then let me put this right here so that we have both of them side by side. On the left side is going to be the current talent tree. On the right side is the new talent tree. Okay, got that? This is going to trigger everybody if it's not. There we go. There we go. So here's what's happening. Number one, precise shots is completely changing. It's this whole new auto shot focus that Blizzard is going for. So now, Precise Shots does the same thing it did before, where your aim shot buffs your next multi-shot or arcane shot, but you also get auto shot damage increased by 100%, but the time between your auto shots is increased. So it takes longer for you to fire a bullet, but it does double damage now. Now, that can be further reduced with other talents like in the rhythm, which has completely changed from what it did in the current game. Currently, it gives you haste, right? Where's the end of the rhythm down here? Down here. It gives you 8% haste, and we'll talk about the haste stuff in a second. This is a really important distinction that's happening between Season 1 and Season 2 for Marksman Hunter. Steady Shot had two talents up here, Improved Steady Shot and Pin Cushion. Those are just baked in baseline now, which is insane. Huge value right here. So Steady Shot gives you 20 focus baseline, and it reduces the cooldown of aim shot baseline. That's nuts. And like I'm noticing it's such a, now that I've done a lot of Marksman Hunter on the PTR, and then I went back and I'm doing Marksman Hunter on live right now, and it's such a difference. So that's really cool. Baseline, that kind of got baked right in. And then now let's talk about the haste stuff. So this is really important. On the current live game, there are 3 talents that give you haste or reduce the cast time of aim shot, which are very important things because like inside your volley cooldown, you want to fit in as many aim shots and rapid fires as you can, right? Without having to press multi-shot to get the trick shot effect. And then also just having a really nice flow to the spec in general, reducing your auto shot time, right? Your time between attacks, and reducing the cast speed of things like aim shot. Very important to make this spec feel good. So right now on live, casting Steady Shot gives you 8% haste. Casting Rapid Fire gives you 8% haste. That's 16% haste that you get from casting those 2 abilities. Those are both gone in Season 2, okay? If I type in haste, it's gone. What you do get in replacement is this new on-target talent that says consuming spotter's mark gains you 4% increased haste, stacking up to 4 times. That's 16% haste. That's the exact same as the old talents gave you, but you have to consume a spotter's mark, which is the brand new mechanic that you get here. It basically just says whenever you damage enemies through precise shots, you have a chance to put this mark on them. So the precise shots is of course up here. So you press aim shot, and that's going to trigger precise shots. Then you press multi-shot in AoE, right? And that's going to consume the precise shots to do more damage. And then you're going to trigger the spotter's mark as a result of that. Does that make sense? So it's like aim shot, multi-shot, and now you have a mark on the enemy. Hopefully, it's just a chance. It's not guaranteed, but it's a chance. So now you have a mark on the enemy. And then if you consume that mark, you can now get haste from on target. So that is a massive difference in the amount of haste that is readily and immediately available to you right now in season 1 versus in season 2, where you have to like consume these spotters marks to get the haste to slowly build up over time. It's not the same at all, right? In season 1, you can consistently get 16% haste all the time. Steady shot, rapid fire, boom, I have 16% haste. In this one, it's like you got to do all the setup, you got to consume the spotters marks, you got to hope to get lucky and get a spotters mark. Now, you can combine that with this new talent down here called Anarin Winds, which gives you a chance to not just apply 1 spotters mark, but 4. And then you could consume all 4 spotters marks at the same time and get 16% haste just right away. So there is a way to get the 16% haste like you had before, but it's much more challenging, I would say, to accomplish. It's a little bit more convoluted, and it's not as guaranteed as it was in season 1. So that is a massive distinction, in my opinion, that is going to be important to think about when it comes to like this auto shot damage that we're getting. Because if you get 16% haste, suddenly your auto shot timer gets a lot lower and you're getting a lot more damage out of it. But like, you have to actually get that haste. And now maybe there's a potential, I'll talk about this later, but there's a potential that you might want to invest more into haste as a stat now, just because you get this extra auto shot timer kind of bonus going on. But let's move on, okay? I just wanted to harp on that for a second. Very, very big difference there. Sorry, the last piece of this, I just looked at my notes there. True shot in the live season gives you 50% cast speed on aim shot. So inside true shot, your aim shot is just going faster, right? Really, really fast. You don't get that anymore. Baseline now, true shot is going to give you crit chance and crit damage, which is great. Don't get me wrong, that's really, really good. It still reduces the cooldown of aim shot and rapid fire, but it doesn't increase the cast speed of aim shot, which is really important. You can still get extra cast speed via tensile bowstring, which buffs your streamline effect. So streamline increases the cast speed of your aim shot, right? But that exists right now in season 1. Streamline exists, it gives you cast speed. So in season 1 right now, if you press true shot and then you press rapid fire, you have the streamline buff and the regular true shot buff. Your aim shot is going to be like whoop, like it just channels like almost instantly. In season 2, you have to, it's not like that anymore. Aim shot just isn't going to be as quick in season 2 as it is in season 1. Again, another reason why you might want to invest into a little bit more haste, because you do get the streamline buff, don't get me wrong, but that's all you get. You don't get a baseline boost to the aim shot cast speed plus the streamline buff. You only get the streamline buff. So your cast speed on aim shot is lower, just guaranteed. So I don't know if this is what Blizzard was intending, but they really feel like they're pushing you a little bit more towards getting haste as a secondary stat, which is not something that you would typically do right now as a marksman hunter. Okay, moving forward, let's talk about the removed talents. Right now, again, I talked about the steady shot talents. Those are gone. Multi-shot is now gone. It's baseline now, which is great. Chimera shot, which is over here, is gone now. Just completely gone, not baseline. Lone Wolf is now a baseline effect that you get. And I'll talk about these new talents in a second. Barrage is gone, and the Barrage plus rapid fire thing, which is a little sad in my opinion. I think that's kind of a fun talent. And then the Legacy of the Windrunner Wailing Arrow stuff is also gone. Okay, we have retained the Razor Fragment stuff that is still there, but Salvo is also passive now. So Salvo used to be a button you had to press. You could just macro it. You could macro it into something else, so that's fine. But it's just passive now. It's down here underneath Volley. Whenever you hit Volley, you get Salvo if you want that. Okay, so those are the removed talents. Now, oh, Serpent Sting is also gone. That's it. Serpent Stalker's Trickery and Hydra's Bite are both gone. So there's a lot of pruning that has happened, which I think is a good thing. A lot of pruning, a lot of things have moved baseline. The steady shot, the multi-shot going baseline, those are fantastic buffs in my opinion. Very, very, very nice. There are new talents that have replaced some of this stuff. Again, we have this new Spotter's Mark mechanic, which I talked about. And now we have the pet stuff. So you can actually choose which bonus you want to gain passively from you not having a pet. Okay, now, if you actually want a pet, you can still get one with Unbreakable Bond. It's more for outdoors, It really is kind of more about being outdoors. While outdoors, your pet deals more damage and takes less damage. So if you want to do like RP stuff, or if you just really like having a pet in the outdoor world, that's good. If you want to min-max your actual damage and output, then you should get rid of that and do the Spotter's Mark thing instead, okay? Now, you get to choose one of your passives here. We are, in fact, losing one of our defensives, right? Fortitude of the Bear is gone. In its place, you get the endurance training still, the max HP, and you now get 3% damage reduction all the time, which arguably could be better than having a 20% max HP and healing cooldown. I don't think it's better. Fortitude of the Bear was a really good button, but instead of that, now we get 3% damage reduction all the time, which is pretty cool. Or you can go with the cunning stuff, which is more of a PvP thing, right? You get Master's Call and you can get Pathfinding if you want it. But more likely than not, in Mythic Plus, for example, you're going to be taking the endurance training and the air superiority all the time. Okay, so that's there now. That's part of your whole spotted mark kind of thing. True Shot, I touched on. I was going to talk about this earlier. Let me talk about the buffs now. Double Tap is returning and Unerring Vision is back. Double Tap was gone for a while. In my testing, unfortunately, Double Tap is like way worse than Unerring Vision. It just is. The reason is because, again, True Shot has changed. Baseline True Shot right now in the current game gives us that cast speed reduction on aim shot. That's gone. Now instead, True Shot gives you 10% base crit, 20% critical strike damage, which is really good. If you take Unerring Vision, you get double the crit chance and the crit damage. So 20% crit chance and 40% crit damage. And remember, we have penetrating shots up here, which says that 40% of your critical strike chance becomes crit damage. So you're like double, triple dipping here, right? So not only are you going to already be stacking crit by yourself, because that's what you should be doing, but now you're going to get 20% critical strike chance and then 40% crit damage inside True Shot. That is so disgusting. And the burst that you can do is outrageous. I'm going to show you footage in a second. It's really, really strong. So True Shot has fundamentally changed from that sort of cast speed reduction to just flat damage, just a ton of extra damage, which is really, really cool. And you get to cool down True Shot and extend the duration of True Shot, actually, which is very, very cool. So calling the shots gives you cooldown reduction, just like it does on with... It's way better, though. If you consume a Spotter's Mark, you get the cooldown reduction as opposed to spending 50 focus. So the Spotter's Mark is a little bit random, so you might not always get the cooldown reduction you're looking for. But now you get, while True Shot is active, consuming precise shots extends the duration of True Shot up to 5 seconds, which is really, really, really cool. That's not something that you get in the current game, right? Which is unfortunate, but it's very cool. You can now extend your True Shot, which again, given the buffs that you can get, the 20% crit, 40% crit damage, that's insane, right? And then, of course, Unerring Vision, as I said, gives you an additional cooldown reduction on top of the crit. So let's say, for example, you took the Onarin Winds and you took the on-target talent. If you get lucky, let's say, and you... Well, actually, no, sorry. Inside True Shot, you don't have to get lucky because it always triggers Spotter's Mark. I kept forgetting that, sorry. You get guaranteed Spotter's Mark. So here's what happens. You pop True Shot, and then because you have Onarin Winds, there's a chance that you're going to get 4 Spotter's Marks. So like you get a guaranteed 1 Spotter's Mark. It might be 4. You press True Shot, you get 4 Spotter's Marks. You fire off your aim shot. You consume all 4 Spotter's Marks. You do a ridiculous amount of AoE damage, and you get 16% haste. And because you've consumed... because you have the calling the shots and Unerring Vision, you get 3 seconds per Spotter's Mark. You get 12 seconds off the cooldown of True Shot immediately, which is kind of wild. So there's a lot of really good synergies going on here, a lot of cooldown reduction and a lot of damage. And I think it's a better direction for them to go with True Shot. Okay, let's talk about builds really quickly. In my testing, Dark Ranger is consistently behind Sentinel. It's not even really close. If I just do some testing on the dummies, they're kind of close, but in reality, in the real world, it's not close at all. Unfortunately, Dark Ranger is cool, but I think they kind of nerfed Withering Fire. Withering Fire used to fire off black arrows for free in the current iteration of it, and it doesn't do that anymore, unfortunately. So this was like, if you would gain Death Blow when you have Withering Fire, you just fire off a bunch of black arrows for free, which is really cool. And then that could chain off of itself. Now, while you have True Shot active, you get Death Blow, but then you have to cast Black Arrow, and then you'll get extra arrows firing as well. I think the free procs were like way better, so I don't really know why they did that. Anyway, the point is, in all my testing, Sentinel is much better than Dark Ranger. That's just the reality. Okay, there's a new Hydra talent here. Instead of taking trick shots, you can take something called Aspect of the Hydra, which says your aim shot and rapid fire and arcane shot will now hit a secondary target for 60% of the damage that they do. Sounds really cool. It solves the 2-target cleave problem that Marksman Hunter always has, right? Because trick shots requires you to hit 3 or more targets with your multi-shot before you actually get to bounce all your damage around. I tested this in a bunch of dungeons. It's not good. It just isn't good enough. Period. And what's kind of cool is that you can take Aspect of the Hydra with Volley, and Volley still gives you trick shots for free, right? So now you're getting an aim shot and a rapid fire that are hitting 2 targets, and then they also bounce around inside of Volley. It sounds really powerful. It is pretty powerful, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't as good as taking trick shots. In my experience over the course of every dungeon that I did, it just wasn't as good as taking trick shots. So I'm really kind of sad about that. There are potentially some dungeons where you're going to have 2-target cleave. If you look at like the dungeon list here, like Priory of the Sacred Flame, the first boss in Priory is technically a 2-target fight. So you could get good value out of it there, I guess. IPA in Cinderbrew Meadery is kind of a 2-target cleave fight depending where the ads show up. It's probably more of an AoE fight, to be honest. Like Trick Shot would probably do better there, but it could be a 2-target cleave. Theater of Pain, Zav from Theater of Pain. Oops, where'd I go there? No, that's correct. No, it's not. We need Shadowlands. Theater of Pain, Zav, he has himself plus his banner. If you're up top, right? So that's 2-target cleave. Mechagon Tussle Tonks is a 2-target cleave fight, and then the Machinist Gardens in Mechagon also has those plants that he summons. That's kind of 2-target cleave, but beyond that, guys, there really isn't that much in terms of 2-target cleave. So I don't know. I think that it's a bit of a meme, this whole Hydra thing, and I wish they would honestly just make it so that I wish it was just a passive thing that you got. Even if it was like further down the tree, Aspect of the Hydra should say, it shouldn't be a choice no with trick shot. It should just say your aim shot, rapid fire, and arcane shot and kill shot, let's say, all hit a second target for 20% of the damage that they deal all the time. And that would just be another talent that you would take somewhere down here. I don't know. That would be really great. And then you could maintain trick shots and get the benefit of having a small 2-target cleave buff. I think that would be a way better design for Blizzard to do here, because it just wasn't good enough in all the testing that I did. Okay, let's look at the testing that I did here. Let me look at this now. We get to the video. Okay, here we go. This is a +12 Cinderbrew Meadery that I did. Again, here's some of my conclusions on Marksman Hunter. Again, in terms of survivability, I think we're actually very good. I think the survivability of Marksman Hunter is fine. We are losing Fortitude to the Bear, but we're getting that 3% damage reduction all the time, which is pretty great, actually. That's not bad at all. We still have really good defensives, like 2 charges of Survival of the Fittest. You have Exhilaration. You can get extra healing through the hero trees if you want them as well. As Sentinel, we have that shield on us all the time, which is really great. You also have things like Turtle, of course, for stopping one-shots, and Feign Death, which can stop channeled abilities. And let me tell you, there's a ton of channeled abilities in Season 2. Like, I stop a whole bunch of them. There's a couple in this dungeon where you get, like, a beam of fire getting channeled on top of you, and you end up stopping it from happening. So, to me, I feel like our survivability is really good, especially compared to, like, Shaman. Like, Shaman's way worse than Hunter now. And even though we lost Fortitude to the Bear, I think it's fine. Dark Ranger still needs a bunch of buffs, in my opinion, to make it close to Sentinel. It's not even close. That's just, yeah, I really think that needs to happen. Quality of life changes are awesome. They removed a ton of button bloat, right? Things like Barrage are gone. The Serpent Sting stuff is gone. The Steady Shot talents are all gone. Those are just baseline. Multi-shot is baseline. Like, really good quality of life there. giving us Bloodlust now. We have access to Bloodlust because of this whole Eagle thing that we have now. And again, we don't have to like dismiss a pet to press Bloodlust. It's so good. Like really, really great stuff there. Yeah, the quality of life is fantastic. 2-target cleave is still a huge problem, as I just said. I did mention the dungeons where 2-target cleave could be good, but the reality is I think it's still completely garbage. The burst damage that we have is still incredibly high, and in low-level keys, you're going to notice, this is Chef Chewy, he's really nasty. In low-level keys, you're going to be blasting. There's still the same problem that Marksman Hunter has had for a long time, which is a sustained, higher keys with sustained damage that is required. You're going to get beat probably by like enhancement shamans, unholy DKs, even like a shadow priest probably over time. These classes are going to beat you in damage because your upfront burst is just absolutely outrageous. Here's the feign death I was talking about. Boiling flames is being channeled onto me right now. I'm going to feign death, and it drops it immediately. So if you're a hunter, you already know this, but let me just tell you, there's a lot of dungeons in season 2 that are going to require you to be on top of your feign death game, which is really cool. We can of course remove poisons and diseases as well with feign death, and the affects as well. So very, very, very good a button right there. Yeah, over the course of longer fights in the higher keys, I think you're still going to be beaten by those other classes that have more sustained damage. But that being said, is our damage bad? No, it's not bad at all. We're like neck and neck with these guys right now. This has been a very long fight right in front of you. Like, it's happening. When did this fight start, right? It's been going on for a while. We started right now, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds goes by, 50 seconds. We've been going for like a minute now, and we're getting, you know, we're keeping up with these guys. So is the damage the best in the game? No, it's probably an A. I would say it goes like at least B+ or A tier, in my opinion, when it comes to damage. Again, in the higher keys, you're still going to run into those problems. I think a lot of other people have ranked Marksman Hunter lower than what I'm ranking it right now, but that's just because they're probably talking about it in like a +15 key, where like it's not going to do as much damage as some of these other classes. So does that mean it's bad or deserves to be B tier? I don't think so. I think it should be like at the bottom of A tier, I would say, for sure. The damage is great. The survivability is great. The utility is good. You have a trap that can knock enemies away. You can do tar trap. You have a intimidation still. You can bring bloodlust without having to dismiss a pet now. Like, you have turtle to deal with one-shots. Like, there's a lot of really good things. I think it's great, in my opinion. So the stats is another interesting thing in terms of my conclusions here. You might have to go with a little bit more haste. I'm going to be testing that and seeing how that kind of ends up working. It's hard to get the right kind of stats that you want, but on the PTR, but we're going to have to see. That might end up being the case as well. Our tier set is looking really strong, in my opinion. The tier set works with lock and load. Whenever you trigger lock and load, your next aim shot will fire an explosive shot. And let me tell you, the damage is disgusting, okay? I'm going to go back to a pull where I found it here. Our damage is completely disgusting here. When you get that proc, I think it was right here. I think I get 2 of them right here. Let me just see if I can find it. I'm in True Shot here now. I just don't want to go forward too far. Here it is here. So I have a lock and load proc right now. That's when your aim shot lights up. I'm going to fire this lock and load. It's going to fire a free explosive shot for me. Watch the damage. I'm going to fire this aim shot right now. We're doing 636 million in total. Went up to 680 million from 636. One aim shot just did like 40 million damage, basically, right? 35 million damage. Watch this next one. I fired a multi-shot, so this is going to bounce with trick shot, but this is my lock and load proc. I'm going to fire. I'm doing 686 million damage in total right now. There goes my aim shot. 726 million. Okay, that's like 35 million damage in one GCD. That is super fun and bursty. Like, look at all the numbers on there. That's my aim shot ricocheting around with trick shot, and it gives you a free explosive shot from the tier set bonus. Like, that's nuts. And you get these lock and load procs. It's nuts. Again, what if you get a bunch of haste and you're cooling down your auto shots, and your auto shots are triggering lock and load more often? You're going to be getting more of these procs. They do so much damage, guys. So these are the kinds of things I think you can pull off as a Marksman Hunter, and I think it's really good. The damage is so disgusting. So anyway, those are my conclusions right now. I think Marksman Hunter deserves to be like A tier, in my opinion. I'm going to do a list soon, but in my opinion, it feels good. It has a lot of tools. The 2-target cleave still sucks. Don't get me wrong, that still sucks, okay? Absolutely. Dark Ranger still sucks. I wish it was better. That still needs to get fixed, okay? There's problems. There are still some problems, but a lot of the quality of life has been fixed. A lot of the button bloat is now gone. The survivability is still good. The burst damage is still good. True shot feels better than ever. There's a lot of great things going on with Marksman Hunter. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about Marksman Hunter. I would love to hear from you guys down there. And this is something that I'm potentially thinking of maining in season 2 as my DPS, because I'm very excited about it. It's really fun, and I think it does a lot of damage. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.